Hot 4.7, Andy and Tasha. Mitchell's here.
Good morning.
The saga of the stolen car.
His car
saga.
your car hasn't been stolen yet. So that's
No, it's still there.
Oh, it's still in the parking
a bunch
lot?
of
Yes.
a bunch of
Good,
texters are very upset with you that you don't just lock your car.
That sounds like maybe Mark or all of those texters.
And
because
they said you need better friends.
well, I mean, in this case, I can see my car and I feel comfortable that it's right there. But you're right. I do lock it when I go to Hy-Vee. I lock it when when I get home, I lock it because Mark will move it if I don't lock it.
Okay, so let's
where do
pick
we
up
leave
where
off?
we leave off. Okay, so you get a message from somebody that the car is in the School for the Deaf parking lot.
Yes.
And
So you go there.
So we go there with the police, and the police inspect it to make sure there's no like pipes or any drugs
Bombs
or
or
anything on
anything.
there. Yeah.
yeah.
And they said, okay, it's all good. They said it's all clean. It wasn't clean though. There was glitter all over the seats from.
I think when they say it's all clean, that means there's no guns or drugs in it.
Oh, I thought it meant no stripper glitter.
Yeah, no.
You know, I'll never learn all
The lingo. I still have glitter
terminology.
in my car, but that was just from the Kesha concert.
that. Also makes sense.
Yeah.
So I was happy to have the car back, although they had changed my presets. How dare they?
Just rubbing salt in the wound.
Just rubbing glitter in the wound. and then, yeah, like halfway home, I'm like, why all the glitter? And then I remember the report of where they went to a strip club in Sioux Falls, and I'm like, okay, so
Is there really that much glitter there?
there was a lot of glitter.
But I mean, like at that strip club, I didn't realize glitter equaled stripper.
I think it is their calling card. I was just looking for my keys to show you there's glitter even on the inside of the key
Like in
chain,
Oh, but your keys are in your car.
But my keys are in my car,
which
so
is
I-
outside, unlocked.
which is outside. And what's the address again, Tosh?
5100 South Tennis
5100
Lane.
South. So feel free. I
Hey,
will
you're
pounce.
giving permission. The cops aren't going to do anything for
I will-
sure this time.
I will tackle anybody.
And can we go back to where, for the last week, you've been sort of bad mouthing the Sioux Falls Police Department, and then you get pulled over the other day, and they let you go, and I was like,
What?
"Excuse
Yeah.
me."
Oh, yeah.
After you pretty much badmouthed them for like a week.
I'm surprised they didn't come back and say this car is stolen, sir, because because that's how behind they've been on everything. But yeah, the guy was like, hey, keep being funny on Facebook. I know you from SDSU.
Oh, you knew the guy?
I didn't know the guy,
Oh.
but he said he knew me from there.
Oh, okay.
So
And
you just got pulled over for what, speeding or?
Yeah, and I was going, okay, on 57th? Mm-hmm. Okay, it's 40.
Yeah.
Sometimes at night, like this was like nighttime, like this is like around midnight. Sometimes I go above 40. But I'm pretty good about, and I even said to the guy, I'm like, I'm the one who says, oh, look at them speeding. I'm the one who's always mad that somebody's speeding, and here I am speeding, but it was like,
I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably at least.
How fast were you going?
oh, probably like 47.
Okay, so not egregious.
No, it wasn't like I was going 80 or something. Like,
Well, I saw the Sioux Falls Police Department posted a photo on Facebook this morning. Someone was coming over the viaduct into downtown on 10th Street, and they were doing 48, and that's a 30. So that's a little worse.
yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot
And
worse.
that's like closer corners. Like stuff is close.
And it's a
like,
$148 ticket, too.
Thanks. But anyway, so you got let off, even though you pretty much just badmouthed the police for like
Yeah.
a week.
Isn't that
That's-
funny? He must not have like looked back on in the paper. No, and
Well, it wasn't
and-
in the. This is the first it's been in the paper, isn't it?
Yeah, but it was on KSFY. It was all over my Facebook.
Oh,
And
wait a minute. Here's that attention you ordered, Mitchell.
you sound like Mark. I will say this: I never intended to, be mean to the police department. I
understand the frustration,
a
though.
bit surprised that they take a stolen car with such a grain of whatever, it'll turn up, or we might press charges after a month. Like nothing Like when I was a kid and you stole a car, I thought that was a big deal. But maybe not. Maybe I'm just.
Well, I
think
would say it's still a big deal.
It's a big deal, but what I don't know when it comes to people being endangered, that's more important than.
And I agree with that. And it was like Jazz Fest week, and there was other things that they had on their minds, and I get that. So I by no means was I trying to. In fact, tonight I'm the MC for the cancer walk, Relay for Life, and
we'll be there.
Oh, fun! And I have to introduce Paul Tenhaken, and I'll congratulate him on what the police are doing. Like, I really don't think that the police are, neglecting me by any means. I think this is probably the process, but maybe there's room for improvement there.
But didn't you say every time you called, they were like, "Who are you? What's happening?"
It felt like I was starting from scratch every time I called.
Mm-hmm. And that to me is a little like they should be able to just. I mean, I don't know for sure, but they should be able to just be like, "What's your name?" Look up your name, be like, "Oh, yep, got your report right here."
And not only that, Andy, the man, my friend in Madison, who questioned the prisoner who stole my car to get all that information, he called me back and he's like, "I got everything from him. Here's everything. It's all on this computer and it's under case number blah, blah, blah." And I wrote it all down. And then I called the Sioux Falls police and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, huge update." The police in Madison, I found a friend, by the way, who would go question him. And here's the case number. And the Sioux Falls police were like, "Oh, I'll stop you right there. We can't put case numbers into our database. That's not how this works." And I'm like, "Well, I mean, he questioned him and got all the stats from him. So, and they're like, "Yeah, we can't put that into our computer."
So how do they look it up then?
Right. So they're like, "You could email that to us. You could fax that to us, but we can't put that into the system." And I'm like, I understand maybe different states not being able to communicate, but like in South Dakota, you would think that like a case number is a case number and put it in the system and everybody can see it. I don't understand that at all. That tells me there's room for improvement. There's room for improvement.
Yeah.
Well,
and that would
each
be
department probably has their own case numbers or whatever that is.
And you're right, but like, why wouldn't they equal?
Why isn't there a box where you click like Madison case number?
Even that, nothing. They're
that would necessitate a statewide system, and I don't know if that's the thing or not.
I'll stop you there. We can't add their case number to our database. It's like it's foreign to us.
I can see how that would be frustrating.
They could use that to. Is there? I mean, you can look up information on other departments.
They would have to call them and get it emailed to them.
Okay.
But I mean, in and of itself, doesn't that make no sense? Like,
well, then why is this person bothering to tell you that? Why don't they just take the information and then get?
Because they wanted me to email it to them, which I did.
Okay, so you had it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then what's the problem?
I would have never, ever called to give them this information. I would have assumed all they had to do was say, "Oh, the prisoner's in custody. Here's what he admitted to. Here's where the car probably is. It's all in the system. Got it. No, they don't have it.
Well, it's not a statewide system. That's why.
But he's saying that's where there should be one.
But shouldn't there be, Andy?
Because how often does a criminal actually stay, like, usually if you do something wrong, you're going to try to get away.
Right. Right. Like, I would say this is
probably a lot more complicated than you realize. You know how many law enforcement departments there are just in Sioux Falls? You've got DCI, you've got Sioux Falls Police, you've got the Minnehaha County Sheriff. That's 3. And in the corrections, that's 4. Okay? They all kind of have their own thing.
All I'm saying
some of those are integrated, some of them are not.
All I'm saying is I could show up to any small clinic in Sioux Falls or out of Sioux Falls, and with my birth date and name, they would say, "Okay, so it says here that you're on blood pressure medicine, and you're allergic to this."
Hold on.
They would have it all.
But if you went to Avera and then went to Sanford, they wouldn't have it.
I'm not so sure about that.
I'm pretty sure they wouldn't.
You don't think that those...
They can request your medical records, though.
That's what I'm saying. The police department can request that from...
But it sounds
Madison
like
PD.
they were like, nah, you can
They
find
weren't
out.
even interested in...
But they asked you to play doctor on your own instead, and
yeah.
Which, that's a little... That's the part of this I get. Like the whole giant, case number thing is we got to take a break.
What were you gonna say,
Sorry.
Tashi?
No, I was gonna say I know what it's like to be frustrated, but every time you call, you have to start from the beginning. Like hello. You'd think even with Mitchell Olsen, they should be able to like type your name in and be like, okay, he
did they never actually take the report in the first place, or did they just talk
like
to you
at least your initial report should come up on some search when you call?
Question, because like every time they'd be like, and what's going on? Well, my car was stolen. Oh, what year? What model?
You'd think they'd have it in front of them. Is there not a way to look that up?
Every time.
That's the part that would frustrate me. Like not even so much the case number part, like just the fact that you don't isn't this written down somewhere? Like we've gone through this 12 times.
Yeah.
And this is why we can talk about this next, that I'm starting my own list of lost and found items in Sioux Falls. Facebook list called Mitch's List or Mitch List. Because I received so many pictures of cute little dogs that were missing and purses and watches and cars and everything else. And I'm like, oh, maybe I can help recover these items.
If you had lost a dog, you would have found it faster than your car.
Not if her name wasn't Lola. That's the only one anyone cares about.
Remember that one.
That's the only dog anyone cares about.
We have to take a break.
Don't get me on that soapbox.
7:28.